Hello everyone, the MLG Skylander Man 360 here today, and today we are reacting to Zero versus Shadow. Now the Zero that I see is Mega Man Zero, so this is kind of more of a different scenario, as I don't physically know the Zero more than I know the Shadow, more of Shadow. As I say, like for instance, Shadow has the ability to have Chaos Control, he can also use some Chaos Spears, and more recent years I know that he has powers that Doom gave him at one point. Black Doom gave him, but I haven't really say much about it to me because this fight wouldn't really contain that power yet. So I kind of wonder where this would go, as he does have Chaos Spears, he's able to go super. He's able to, but I will probably get to learn this Zero in this episode, so I might actually get to know it. But anyway, without any further ado, let's begin the reaction.
Man, to be the symbol of the perfect creation. A title only a few can say they were made to be.
Oh, Archie, you don't need to flatter me. Even though I wasn't really man-made, I sort of was kind of just created, you know?
I wasn't complimenting you, but okay. We have discussed a lot of man-made creations on the show a couple of times over the years. And yes, most of them were made to bring havoc and destruction upon all of mankind.
But sometimes it takes the help from a bright blue hero to help them become more so of an everyday anti-hero. Give and take a mild dose of edgelordness, and you have these ultimate red man-made life forms.
Zero, Dr. Wily's greatest robot gone maverick hunter.
And Shadow the Hedgehog, Jerry Robotnik's ultimate life form.
He's Demon and I'm Archer.
And it's our job to analyze these characters to their fullest, covering their feats and faults to find out who would win when these two fictional characters collide.
In the year 20XX.
Damn, so close to hitting the mature rating.
In the year 20XX, a blue robot was discovered in the midst of the greatest boom in robotics. Dr. Kane, the lead of robotics in the world, decided that its specs were the perfect blueprint for his greatest achievement, the Reploids. Robots made to make human life just a bit easier, able to do many normal tasks that humans can do. All was right in the world with the relationship of robots and humans.
But since this is Mega Man, we can't have that for too long. Soon, random Reploids have started to go down with some kind of violent virus that made them attack humans. Incidents have occurred until Dr. Kane came up with his own solution. He created a Reploid somehow fully immune to the virus known as Sigma to handle these infected Reploids.
Soon, the search for the source led Sigma and a few other Reploids to a distant cave lab where Sigma encountered the source of this, a lone robot named Zero.
Oh shoot.
It's so nuts! Listen here. After a fist fight against Robo Lex Luthor, both Sigma and Zero's personalities and goals were switched. You see, Sigma was made to not get infected by the virus, so instead the virus just merged with Sigma, making him more of a Robo Hitler.
Now you see the interesting part. This virus that had infected Sigma was created by none other than the dastardly mad scientist, Dr. Wily. You know, that Dr. Wily, being hell-bent on continuing his path of the world being taken over by his malevolent robots, which proved to be semi-successful.
Why do we say that? Because for some dumb reason, like all of Wily's inventions, bites him in the ass. After the virus merged with Sigma, it turned the animalistic Zero into someone who wanted to fight against the infected like Sigma's original goal. And he won't be doing it without some nifty gear at his disposal. Like his trusty Z-Saber. Quote, not to be confused with the lightsaber. Damn thing takes a while to cut through anything. He can do cool spin slashes, uses a clone to do multiple damage alongside with him and others.
And like every character, he has his Zero Buster. It's kind of a trend in this series to name their Buster after themselves. Mega Buster, Base Buster, Zero Buster...
And Demon Buster!
Demon, no! As I was saying, he has a whole lot more than just a simple blade and a buster. He has shields, boosters, glaives, fans, a thing called Sigma Blade, and a whole lot of elemental abilities, including lightning, water, fire, and ice. thus nothing compared to his much more devastating abilities.
With Sublet Rikoha, which has him slammed to the ground, creating a large energy waves around him, and Darkhold.
Which with Darkhold, he can temporarily stop time. Wait, no. Oh. I thought Demon was gonna say something. Hold on. Including this, there's also the Zero series. After Zero gets a whole new body, don't ask, it gets really weird. He can make shield boomerangs, have a rod that can turn into a chain and triple itself, it even fall apart that Zero can rebuild, and has a shield to protect him from all damage.
And that's nothing compared to Zero's black form.
Whoa, Demon.
Oh god.
No, really, it's called that.
Oh, wait,
Well,
really?
Albeit. Well, despite the name, it's a massive boost in strength speed, everything inside that brain of his. And then Absolute Zero.
Isn't that from a questionable canon game?
Well, it's not like it's gonna affect much of the analysis.
People will bitch, so we aren't gonna mention it.
Sometimes I'm wondering what I'm even fighting for when arguing against you. With this massive arsenal of powers, weapons, and forms, you wouldn't be shocked on the amazing stuff Zero has done.
Like his fight with the General, which took this 60 zetatonic base explosion right in the fucking face. And Zero should scale to him pretty easily as well, since, well, they did fight before this.
Alongside that, and we'll be saying this a couple times in the video, so get your shots ready, he's comparable to the lemon-shooting blue bomber himself, Mega Man, who defeated Sunstar, who blew Wily Star. The force of this explosion being around 40 zetatons of force, which is a massive understatement since the explosion is most likely even bigger than we previously thought.
Not the first time we had to redo a calc.
Oh, shut it.
Huh.
Next, let's get to the big boys. Let's talk about Omega. For one, with Omega, when he entered Earth, he created this dimensional rift known as the Cyber Kukan.
Just note that the place is different based on almost every appearance, so don't go saying we are showing different places when we discuss the cyberspace.
Thank you, Mr. No Manners. As I was saying, this place is its own universe based on how you get to it via multiple dimensional hopping doors. Yeah, I know, weird. Again, Zero series is dumb. But this proves that it's its own realm and isn't our own.
That's more interesting.
Why is this important, you may ask? Well, look at Omega fucking warping an entire interstellar part of cyberspace.
And this is more impressive based on this dimension is shown to have stars and even galaxies. This is highly impressive since to do this it takes around 16.9 XFO of force. And remember, Zero fought Omega while this entire thing was happening.
Man, that was a lot coming from a guy that looks almost exactly like Zero. Maybe clones are sometimes as good as the original.
With that taken care of, let's go to speed. Well, its usual lightning timing ever since the classic time and Quickman being as quick as lightning, there's also bigger feats with classic Mega who scales to Dual's meteor form, which in Mega Man 8 was able to travel to Jupiter to Earth in 38 seconds, moving at 55 times the speed of light.
And then there's Lumine's Paradise Lost attack. Why is his attack so important? Well, how about it destroyed the fucking sun? While that alone is a star-level feat, the feat itself happened while she was on Earth, meaning by how far the feat took place and took around 4 seconds to hit the sun. If you use this speed, it will clock around 127 times the speed of light.
And finally, there's the Great Mother Elf feat, which people do question if usable. You see, Mother Elf was the key to solving the virus that affected the Reploids all those years ago, and she on her own was able to erase the entire virus, which can either be in multiple planets, and even in other descriptions, the entire galaxy. So at the latest, we can say the speed for Mother Elf to do so said feat is around, let's say 4 billion times the speed of light.
I'm sure I heard this speed better explained somewhere else.
I'm sure, but hey, it's the best I can do with your tiny resources.
Hey, my potato computer works just fine.
Hey.
But in the end, these feats of strength or speed didn't matter the most to Zero. In the end, he helped end the virus and brought great peace to all Reploids and humans. I guess after all the pain, loss, and sacrifice he had made, Zero will now be remembered as more than just a rival to X himself, but more as a hero who proved he was more than what he was originally built for.
正義の味方でもなければ自分を英雄と名乗った覚えもない。俺はただ自分が信じる者のために戦ってきた。俺は悩まない。目の前に敵が現れたなら叩き切るまでだ。
The Space Colony Arc, a laboratory held by the famous General Robotnik in the pursuit of finding a cure to his granddaughter's Maria's sickness. And thanks to the government and army known as the Guardian Units of Nations, or GUN, he was close to a breakthrough.
But then everything kind of went up in flames. Seems whatever Jode was working on up there, the government didn't really like it, so they went up there to personally stop the testing. But it ended in one great tragedy, the death of Maria.
But Maria didn't go down fighting. You see, while she was running away from Gun, she had someone with her. Someone she sent out to Earth to keep her last wish to continue. That person was Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog is Gerald Robotnik's attempts to create the perfect creation in hopes of finding a way to cure Maria's illness, while also hoping to bring Maria's wish to life, which is to protect all life on the planet.
Wait.
fair.
So Gerald's solution in finding a way to save his granddaughter was a hedgehog with sneakers.
Well, the prototype was actually a giant lizard, if that makes you feel better about the situation.
No, because that just leads to the question of how he went from giant space lizard to a hedgehog.
Details for later, David. With Shadow's creation, he was infused with a power source called
Yeah,
Chaos,
it
a
is
certain
weird, but
power in the
it's
Sonic
interesting.
universe that lets many people do crazy things. With it, he can cast Chaos Spears, teleport, infuse his attacks with Chaos Energy, and his Trunks attack, Chaos Blast. When he's overfilled with negative energy, he can lay waste to anything around him with a single burst of power.
And when he has his trusty Chaos Emerald in his hand, he was able to use Chaos Control, where it allows him to temporarily stop time to his will. Especially when he's around another certain hedgehog. Take that, you silver-furred loser.
The Chaos Emerald in easy terms
Damn.
is an ancient powerful item in the Sonic universe connected to the Master Emerald, which is able to grant the user even greater power. The power from the singular Chaos Emerald has shown to pull huge chunks of the Earth back together after Gaia was awakened. Given the force needed to pull an entire continent together from space is around 50 zetatons of force to do so.
But that's not all Shadow has on him. He has the inhibitor rings around his arms. You see, these rings are more so limiters to his connection to the chaos power inside it. When needed, Shadow can remove these rings, gaining a massive increase in major power and chaos energy, but the downside of basically not being able to control it very well. That's why it's more so a last resort over anything else.
Wow, jewelry being able to be used as weapons. No lie, on this show I thought I've seen everything, but I'm learning more every episode.
Wow, you're actually learning something for once?
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, wait, I'm supposed to be saying that to you.
If Shadow doesn't want to use all these mythical and chaotic
Don't
powers,
blame me,
the
man,
guy is
that's
also known
funny.
to hold a bit of heat on him. Like the magical punk action SMG.
That's
Oh, yeah.
not how you use a
I
submachine.
forgot he can use a gun. Heads. But yeah, no, I forgot. Shadow can use a gun. Oh god.
Machine gun. What? Okay, so as a self-proclaimed master of weapons as I am, how do you have a pump action gun with a clip? That's not like that. Yes, you can have technically a shotgun that's a pump action that you do have a clip in, but like, where in the world would Shadow the Hedgehog get his hands on that? That is not a common weapon. He would not just find that laying around. That's not even an army issue.
Also, the issue is you gotta pump each bullet too in an SMG.
What even kind of gun is this? Anyway, well, yes, Shadow is someone who uses a lot of guns, alien tech, and even swords bigger than him.
I never questioned
and also
the
a few
logic.
vehicles from time to time.
I wouldn't
It all
go through the
pales in
logic of
comparison
Shadow
to
of a
Super
gun.
Shadow,
Go with
when
it.
Shadow gains all 7 Chaos Emeralds.
So he found that
Oh my
damn
God.
Force Chaos Emerald.
With
I knew that
Super
reference was
Shadow, he
coming.
dons a new blonde fur, can fly indefinitely despite having shoes that can help with that already, and is fully invincible. But
Where's
there is an
the
issue.
damn Chaos
See, it's
Emerald?
inconsistent with how long Super can be used. With someone like Sonic, it can show he can last days on end in
Alright.
Super form.
Yep,
Then
the Super
others,
form.
it can only last around 50 seconds or so. But with someone like Shadow, it's safe to believe he can do it just as long. While in the state, Shadow, along with other hedgehogs, has done amazing stuff. Like how he defeated Black Doom, the alien that Gerald worked with him to create Shadow.
Alright.
It almost feels like we came with that out of nowhere. Just like in the game. After defeating Black Doom, Shadow was able to lift that big comet thing and send it back into space. Along that, he's easily comparable to beings like Metal Sonic, who we before calced at his best to be as strong as the space colony Ark when it blasted half of the moon, where we calculate it to be around 29 exatons of force. But that's
Alright.
only in base, and before the giant space lizard fused with the space colony Ark to create the full final hazard.
In Super form, and with the help of Sonic, they stopped the final hazard with colliding with Earth and destroying it. A feat which would be around a couple of Yototons to do so. Alongside that, he should be comparable to Super Sonic in both their super forms, since they fought alongside in a couple instances.
Well, first time against Final Hazard, it's more so Sonic that did it. He said during the fight that Shadow wasn't used to his form and it was killing him. At the second time, it's questionable if it's canon against Solaris, since 06 is a whole bag of worms.
Huh?
But then there's other fights Super Sonic has done and defeated, like X-Salamander, which was trying to fuse both Blaze and Sonic universes together, a near universal level feat that took both Super Sonic and Burning Blaze to put a stop to.
In speed, Shadow is easily comparable to Sonic. I know people say that about every Sonic character, but with Shadow, it's a steady organism.
But now it's time for the hardest part in Sonic. Let's discuss speed.
Oh, fuck. Game over, man. Game over. We are fucked no matter what.
Alright, let's eat the whole plate. I ate the whole plate. The whole plate. In Sonic Colors 3DS, Sonic has boasted at the start of the game that he is near light speed, but it's safe to say at the end of said game, he's able to reach light speed since, well, this.
Guy outran a fucking pseudo black hole. Well, yes, it's not a pure black hole. It should be around what we usually do with this stuff, around 10 times the speed of light, that kind of black hole stuff.
Let's just say it's faster than light and you'll be good. But all that pales in comparison on what Super Shadow can do. You see, Super Shadow can scale to Supersonic, which in Sonic Advance 3 chased down Super General, who was near a large star cluster in a matter of 6 seconds. Ooh. Now the closest star cluster is around 153 light years away, which is Hades, which means Supersonic was going at the speed of 800 million times the speed of light.
But even if he is this fast and that strong, it's only in his super form. If Shadow is that strong or stronger than his super form, then what's the point in using it? Alongside that, the guy, even though he has a walking arsenal of guns and chaos power, both do seem highly limited of how much he can use, especially with those guns. I don't think he can just create more ammo. And survives full character assassination. Sorta.
Right. Please stop bringing it up. But after all this, Shadow did what he promised to Maria. After forgetting his promise, Shadow rised up and protected the people she cared for the most. It seems after the loss of so much, forgetting who he was, Shadow remembered who he was meant to be at the end. A hero Maria can be proud of.
Shadow!
What?
Those people need you, Shadow.
I am Shadow! Shadow the Hedgehog! You ready?
Now that these two ultimate creations have been analyzed, it's time to see which one will come out on top.
Will Shadow prove its hunter that he's the true ultimate life form, or will Shadow show this hedgehog what he's fighting for and eliminate him? Oh, and something Maria joke.
It's time for these two fictional characters to collide.
Oh, nice. There we go. Oh, yep. There's one of the deep forward one goes. Oh.
Chaos Blast!
Up. Ooh. Oh. Oh no. Oh, yeah, I was like, crap. Damn.
Ultra Combo! Man, now that's a reference to Zero's original episode. But for real though, this seems strange. I was pretty sure Super Shadow wins this.
Yes, but we should explain the basic stuff first. See, both did have a vast array of weapons and abilities that can counter the other, mainly with all the Shadow's different guns and Chaos Powers being able to match Zero's major arsenal of weapons and commands, and both having ways of stopping time, making that part of the fight kind of pointless.
So really, this fight all went down to their more basic stats than anything else. Shadow can scale to the final hazard, who at the end of Sonic Adventure 2 was going to plummet right into Earth, while destroying it with ease. Doing this would be around 2 or so Yotatons to actually accomplish.
But on the other hand, Zero can scale to Omega, who can warp entire galaxies with pure strength alone. A feat which is around 16 XFO of force to do so, around a couple million times stronger than the final hazard collision attempt.
But what about Super Form? The Super Form has scaled into beings like Egg Salamander, who was merging universes. That definitely could give Shadow the win.
Why, yes, Shadow's super form is highly impressive. It has one major issue. Is Shadow fast enough to dodge Zero long enough to use his super form? And the answer is, well, he just can't. Let me explain. Shadow has scaling to base Sonic faster than light speeds when it comes to the pseudo-black hole outrunning feat, which is highly impressive.
Right. But Zero can scale to the likes of Lumine, whose own FTO feat was in 120 times faster than the casual black hole. And also scaling to Mother Elf's feat being able to clear the entire galaxy of Zigma's virus, which we discussed was in the billions. So all Zero needed to do is get one really good hit in and it's all over. And based on how big the speed gap is at the start, I say it's very certain Shadow won't be able to get in time.
So it's less of could Shadow win, which he can, but more so of a should Shadow win, which he shouldn't. Well, yes, Shadow's super form is his best win condition, he just couldn't handle the major disadvantage in strength and speed Zero had over him.
It seems Shadow had near zero chances of winning this fight.
The winner is Zero.
Next time on Fictional Characters Collide.
Alright. Oh, right on the next time. But I will say, that was an impressive episode. And I had to admit, I did like Nemesis animation. That was amazing. Alright, so who's on next? Megamon. Brew. Oh no, where is this gonna go? Not to say, like I said, this was more of an episode that gives you an idea, and plus, I have actually no more relation with Zero. As I said, I've managed to play the X games at one point, but then I kind of haven't played them in a few years, so it's kind of like my history with Zero has kind of been a little dimmed to where I forgot certain things about him. The only things I never forgot were the fact that he was trying to figure out what he was fighting for at one point in the line of his story. It's just nowadays, I haven't heard a lot of people use Zero as much anymore. And that's more interesting. This fight can go either way for me. Like I said, if Shadow couldn't use the super form, oh well. I think there's just going to be probably more in time with Shadow. As I said, I don't know exactly what's gone down in the previous time with Sonic games, more or less with him. Besides the whole him having this new weird energy of Black Doom. So, who knows? I really enjoyed that. And I really have to say, I really do like that Nemesis did the animation for this episode. It was really good. And I actually kind of liked it. And I'm actually glad that Brendan Yates made the music. That's really something unique. I have to say. Nah. But yeah. Who knows? Who knows? It was an amazing episode, and I really do like that. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed that episode, please like, comment, subscribe, and please go subscribe to Demon and Archer for the series. It's really interesting to see certain matchups that are really rare to see. And who knows? Maybe a new matchup that I'll see in the future will be pretty amazing. And I will see y'all next one. Later.